Texas Tiger Digs, and I'm talking about the TRX pin pointer again. I've talked about it a couple of times, but I need to give it a revised review now that I've been using it for, I don't know, two or more months, give or take. And it changes the way you detect. Now, I'm not saying I don't love the TRX pin pointer. This is not an empty box. This is another pin pointer. So I purchased two just in case. I don't want to be without. So I'm going to have me this one and a backup. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I still can use the Garrett pin pointer, and I'm still a believer in the Garrett pin pointer. Like I said, it's a personal choice. You know, there are pluses and minuses to both, but the TRX has changed the way I detect to the degree that I really need it. Now, I'm not saying I'm addicted to it. I couldn't use the other pin pointer, but I went out to find a couple of targets. You might have seen videos where I did this with the Garrett because I forgot the TRX, left it at home, and I had to do the little distance adjustment to the coin move. I have a little spacer I can move up, and I tested it. I couldn't find it, but those were targets I could find with the TRX. The reason I know that is I went out one time and carried both pin pointers. No really why. I just had them both in a pouch, and I reached in and grabbed the Garrett and tested it, and because it was the first one that popped the hand, and I couldn't get the depth. I moved the adjustment tool up there. Still couldn't get it. I went back, got the TRX out of my pouch, and then I could touch the target. So the distance is still greater with or without the distance adjustment. So I make this. So I love the TRX in that way. Now the TRX is another thing. This is a dime, and I don't think there's quite any metal right underneath me here. So I can actually hit my TRX pin pointer, and I can tell some of the depth of the dime from the pin pointer. I'm about 4.5, 5 inches above right here. And I can hear that dime. Now I get closer, I get closer, I get closer, I can hear it. So actually I can determine the depth. So just like a point and click detector, the technique you use with some of the Tesoros, by raising the coil you can determine the depth of the target. You can do that to a degree within the White's TRX limit of 5 to 6 inches, how deep that target is. If I'm right on the ground and I can get that signal and I move it up a quarter of an inch and I lose it, I know it's 4.5, 5 inches down, maybe a little more. So that's great. So I can determine depth with it. Now with that comes the weird thing is the TRX is a metal detector, just like the coil based metal detector, but you can also get some of the metal detector features from this. You can be off on a off on a nail because you might hit the head of the nail instead of the point of the nail. So you might be off a little bit adjusting for that point on your pin pointing with the TRX pin pointer. You can also do that with coins that are standing up straight up. You can also do that with even aluminum cans that are standing straight up, that will give you a signal that might make you believe it's coin size, because it's very narrow. If you don't go up and down exactly right, then you won't know it. But you might be off a little bit because it's a detector, and that vertical orientation can sometimes throw it off a little bit. But that's pretty cool. Now with the Whites, you dig a little bit and then you just put it back in. You hit this button, reset, and then you begin to get the angle. So it's not like it's a big effect, but it's something interesting. It's kind of cool knowing this little detector has some of the characteristics of a big detector. So I got no complaints there either. It's just a little quirk. Like I said, I bought the other one, so you know how disappointed I am. They're not cheap. They're not as expensive as in most cases as the Mind Lab, but they're still not something you just go out and buy for on a whim. So that's great. Now the adjustability, you'll see different videos out there on how to adjust it from a 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 level, and then you get different gradations. I do adjust it from 4 to 3 sometime, because 4 is not always stable. It gets a little bit gets a little bit noisy, but I can always tell the signal. So I usually keep mine at 4, and I'll adjust down to 3 sometime. And, it's all according to what depth of coins I'm beginning to hit on a consistent basis. So that's also been great. So I really got not a lot of complaints about the TRX. I bought another one. Like I said, I went out with my Garrett Pro Pointer, and I missed the depth. There's more depth, and in my parks, I can find this, I can hit it, and 9 times out of 10, because I can hit it so precisely, I can pop it out with a small trowel, or I can pop it out with a screwdriver. But what's good about that is in my parks, and in this part of Texas, in this time of the year, my ground is cracking, it's very, very dry, I can't cut plugs successfully with any consistency. So this aids me in a lot in not damaging the soil. I mean, reach in there, pop it up, push the soil down, fold it back in, and then most of the time they can't even determine I've been there. So that's what I've got to say about the TRX pin pointer. It's still good, and it's still great for me. And like I said, the trick of the that you would use with any other detector, you're able to find the alter and determine your depth with a pin pointer, which is not usually required, since a pin pointer is usually about 2.5 to 3 inches. What you need to determine depth. When they're 5, maybe more in the ground, then it helps to determine depth. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I just want to give you my update on my TRX pin pointer. I might not be giving you another. I'll give you another if I'm disappointed with it at any point, or if it fails to work. But I've had this pin pointer for 2.5, 3 months. I've beaten it up pretty good. It's clean right now because I wiped it off. But it's gone through the wars, and it's still functioning without any problem. So the durability issue with whites is being answered to some degree. There's still more time, but I have no complaints, and I have so little complaints that I bought another. Anyways, this is Texas Tiger Digs, and I will see you out. I'll be wielding my TRX pin pointer at the next dig, and who knows? Gold coin, silver coin, clad, dimes and nickels, more dimes, nickels and quarters. You call a nickel as clad. Dimes and quarters and pennies more likely, but I'll keep at it, and then when I get those little treasures, you'll know about them. I'll talk to you later. It's Texas Tiger Digs. I'll see you at the next hunt.